So I want to talk to you about what it was like being a Gen X kid. We're going to start with some of our games. We used to play this game called Perfection. Take a look at this. Let's zoom in. See that little dial there? Talk about inducing anxiety. See, they started us off already like young. They're like, you got to know what it's like to have stress. That little timer there, I think it was 60 seconds. We had to figure out how to get all of these things in these little holes before that thing popped up and threw the pieces all over the place. I mean, who does that to kids? Let's move on to the next thing. We're going to talk about Simon Says. That was the thing, it was like the memory game. It wasn't just like cards. It gave you PTSD. It gave you anxiety. It was stressful. You had to play memory with the electronic like sounds. So they'd be like eh, 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 eh. Eh, 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 eh. Eh, 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 eh. Whatever it was, see, I already messed up. But then it would speed it up on you. Next thing you know, you're like, too much. Too much. Then you have Perfection. That game was pure crazy. We had to try to operate on the sick person. So they gave you all these pieces like the little broken heart. And let me tell you what they would do. They would make us put these little pieces in there, and you had to use these little tweezers, to pull out the little pieces, right? You had to operate on the guy. And then if you touch the sides, you'd be like, you get buzzed. You would get buzzed. It had legal buzzing. It was like getting electrocuted. They were just like, So nobody wanted to be buzzed. It was crazy. What's next? Oh, and then, of course, we had our slides. See, like, you guys have the nice slides nowadays. Slides that are made out of plastic or PVC or I don't know. But see, what they did to us is they were like, toughen up, Buttercup. Go down that metal slide at high noon when it's 500 degrees outside. I know you're going to burn the first layer of skin. You're going to probably have like first, second, third degree burns, but don't worry about it. And then, of course, we had bikes. I remember I had a little pink Huffy bike. Not that bike. I'm talking about the one with the big banana seat in the back. This is the one I'm talking about. The big Huffy bike. And let me tell you what was so special about this kind of bike. Okay? It was made so that you can have more than one person on the bike. So when you're a kid, you're not that big, right? Because we ran around and used our real legs, arms and legs and stuff like that. We didn't have the motorized stuff. So we were pretty fit back then. So we had these two little bodies on this Huffy bike. I had the girly version, right? I had the little pink Huffy. And then we would get on the back of this bike. And let me tell you, we didn't have like helmets and like, I don't know, knee guards and shin guards and elbow pads. We didn't have all that. We just had two bodies and we just hoped for the best. We hoped for the best. Let me tell you something. And then we had the hose. If we were thirsty, we had to go and just grab a hose outside. It probably had lead in it. Who knows what was in that water? Actually, it was probably some of the best water we ever drank from. Nevertheless, we don't know if it had natural like fluoride or whatever it was in there. All I know is we had to go fend for ourselves. So this is the reason why when we hear some of these like silly people out here complaining and stuff, we're like, you better go create your own fun. Figure out how you're going to make money. We had lemonade stands and everything else. Go figure some stuff out. Stop all this complaining. Don't threaten us. We've dealt with a whole bunch of stuff. I remember that one time I was playing outside in the woods and I stepped on it was like an old piece of wood with a nail in it. And you know what I had to do? Me and my friends had to pull this nail out of my foot. It went through my sneaker. And by the way, I didn't have high quality sneakers to play in, right? We had the school shoes and then we had the cheapo shoes. You know, we called them Jeepers. Jeepers. They make your feet feel fine. Jeepers. They cost $1.99. Jeepers. We had the play shoes, not the real ones, okay? So it went right through the bottom of my shoe. You know what happened? We went home, and my mom and my family, my dad, whatever, they were like, oh, just rinse it off. They washed it off, and they were like, oh, I don't know if you need to put a Band-Aid on it. I could barely walk. I'm surprised I didn't get my foot amputated or something with gangrene. So I don't know. What I do know was we had to go figure it out. We had to go outside. We had to play and figure some stuff out. So there's a reason why we don't really want to hear all this whining and crying. We didn't have organized sports like that. We just went and played. We learned how to play. That's it.